meat or something that's produced from an animal, right? Because they, by their faith or their religion, regard animals as being sacred. But the Bible clearly say to Peter, God said to Peter, look, go eat. What I've made clean is clean. Don't you decide what is clean and what's unclean. So there's many ways that people could have broken the law before. But God makes a way for us. Other considerations in James. He says, wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. So, let us be swift to hear, and let us be slow to speak and slow to wrath or get angry. Okay? So many people across our world today are very quick to speak, and they're reluctant to listen. And you find that people and governments and nations are in turmoil because that they won't really sit down and listen before they speak, or before they think, I've got a point of view and I'm pushing this, you don't agree with me, so I'm angry at you. And that is the source historically of wars. Every war that's ever broken out has began with words and disagreements. So it's James 2:17 and 18 that says, even so faith, if it hath not works, is dead being alone. Yea, a man may say, thou hast faith and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show ye my faith by my works. So if I ask somebody to show me your faith without your works, it's impossible really to do, right? Because they can say, oh, I've got faith, I believe. But really, there's no manifestation of that. So I show you my faith by or through my works. James 3 verse 5, it says, even so the tongue is a little member that boasteth great things. Behold, how great a fire, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. So how great a matter a little fire kindleth. A spark, one spark can lead to a great big wildfire like we've seen of late in California. Right, one spark begins that, and that here a little fire kindleth. How great a matter. So when words get involved, words can result in disagreement and an unwillingness to agree to disagree. It results in disagreement, it results in bitterness, it results in hatred, it results in people coming against one another as individuals. It results ultimately in nations coming against one another. It results in people being slain across the wars, across the 2 world wars. There's like millions of people that lost their lives because that people somewhere started a little fire that became a great matter. And our tongue is they say it's one of the smallest members, but it's a member that can cause the most issues sometimes if it's not controlled. James 5 and verse 16, it says, confess your faults one to another, and pray one for another, that you may be healed. The fervent effectual prayer of a righteous man availeth much. So we use that a lot, the fervent, effectual prayer of a righteous man availeth much. Now we can pray and we can use words and fancy phrases, all of that. What did the Pharisees and the Sadducees do? They did that kind of thing, sort of praying on the street corners to be seen. But did their prayers really fall on the ear of God? You know, that's a different story. So, fervent, effectual prayer of a righteous man. So if we're made righteous in Christ, and we are fervent, we've got a passion, our prayers will be effectual. Our prayers will not be just words. Our prayers will see results taking place as heaven and earth moves, because we pray, we intercede and we stand in the gap. There's a practical application to the book of James. He presents challenge to faithful followers of Jesus. And that wasn't just to the Jewish Christians that he was originally writing to. By means of the Bible, we have the same words written to us, and they apply for us today as they did back then. Don't just talk the talk, but walk the walk. So don't just say you are something, be it, be that something. Okay? So if we are going to be Christians, we are followers of Jesus. We emulate, we live our lives as Jesus. It is written, lived his life. And we're inspired and guided by the Holy Ghost. So we don't just talk the talk, we live it. We walk the walk. While our faith walk requires a growth in knowledge of the Word, James tells us, look, the Word isn't the be all, it's just gaining knowledge from the Word isn't the end of the story. James gives us 60 obligations in 108 verses in that book of James letter. So 60 things that we're encouraged to do in that small book that's only 5 short chapters. He focuses on the truth of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. It motivates us to act upon what we've been taught. And he also puts to rest the idea that we can become a Christian and still say, well, even in the background we can live a life that's got a measure of sin involved in it. We just can't. We just need to let all sin be gone from our lives and demonstrate what Jesus has brought us into. You know, if our faith isn't right, we'll have issues exhibiting the fruit of righteousness. So some of the fruits even that Paul was on about, the love, the joy, the peace, the long suffering, gentleness, meekness, faith, we'll have issues exhibiting that if our faith, you know, if we're not grounded properly, and we're not allowing those works of our faith to flow through. And if there's anything in our lives in the background that ought not to be there, then that will limit us in that as well. James 2:19 says, such a faith is shared by demons, and they tremble at it. Okay? They believe and tremble. So even the demons believe and tremble at the word of God. But the demons and Satan do not want us to believe in the word of God, because that's when we pass from their control to God, into God's hands. Such a faith cannot save. as it's not verified by works. So if you only believe or say you believe, it's not verified by works, then how can we really portray that we've been saved? True saving faith will be accompanied by our actions. Ephesians 2 verse 10 tells us that good works are not a cause of salvation, but they're a result of salvation. So good works, and Paul agrees on that. So you see, there are elements of what Paul said and what James said that are actually the same thing. But James is just putting a bit more emphasis on, well, you're now a believer, and you're now blood bought, you're saved, and so live in it. And that is covering very quickly the book of James, you know. So it's quite a short book, but there's a lot in it. Mm-hmm. And you can I find that when I read Hebrews, you know, that I can't read a whole chapter of it at one go, right? Because I'm kind of going, whoa, right? Because otherwise you just skim over it, and it becomes as though you're reading just for reading's sake. But when you find even in one verse of Proverbs, one verse of Proverbs, you can get, oh, this is the case, but here's the counter side of it, you know, and you get a mini teaching in like one verse. Now here we're saying that there's like 60 like obligations or 60 exhortations within this short letter of five chapters, considering that Proverbs has 30 chapters, you know. That's why they say that James is like the Proverbs of the New Testament. But as ever, there's lots in there for us to look at and to adopt and apply to our lives. How we respond and how we act and how we live will reflect, you know, the faith of Jesus, and that when people look at us and they see that we've got something, and they begin to realise that Jesus is in our lives, and they want to have that too. So, you know, it's a witness that goes way beyond words. Okay, have you any questions, Sister Samantha?
The test, will it be about Hebrews and James?
Yes, yes it will. So the test will be anything that we've covered since we began the course in August through completing today, okay? So effectively the two books that you're concerned with are Hebrews and James.
Right.
Okay? And as I say, what it will be is there'll be some in there that's got fill the blanks, which will be just like what you've been doing if you've been doing the self-help. Some of the self-help as well asks you to comment or say, well, what about let us this or better that or whatever. And some of these things we kind of pulled out. So there's a mixture of it in there. I'm sure you'll be absolutely fine with it. I'll be in the class anyway, I'll be here. So if you've got stuck with anything, you can most certainly, don't be afraid to ask. Right? We won't give you the answer, but we can sort of help you. And you can have your Bible there, you can have your notes, anything that, right? So that's fine, there's not a problem with it. And then what to do is when you've done that, will you be doing your test electronically, like typing it, or will you be writing?
Yeah, that would be nice, just an electronic version.
Right, so if you do an electronic version, after you're through, if you can just email it to me, like directly, then I'll mark it for you, and I'll write you back with the like what mark you've managed to get, which which will be an A anyway. I just know you're an A student anyway, so right. So
No pressure.
so don't worry about that. But I mean, from my point of view, if you can email that to me, that'd be great. Okay, because then I can turn it around real quick. Whereas some people will do a paper copy, and what they do is they just then post it. They post it to the college, and then we've got to get that, you know, to the teachers and get it marked and go around. And the year one at the moment is a big class, so I'm kind of scratching my head as to how many papers will I have to mark for them.
How big is year one? How big is year one?
There's a lot of them from Millennial Bible College that have joined, and there's people from Dublin as well, and then there's a whole group of them on Skype, and there's people in the room as well. So I would say there must be about 20 odd of them, you know. So if they all decide that they're credit students and they're all doing their tests, you know, it'll be fun and games for me.
Everyone.
End of January, but we'll face into that once we get to that. But from your point of view, there was another lady who was with us last time, Sister Zion, right? So I'm hoping that Sister Zion's following through with this as well. So if she is wanting to do the test in January, you're most welcome to. For Sister Zion, I know this is being recorded, so if you are doing this along with Sister Samantha, then please just have a look over your notes, and over December into January, have a look over your notes, and we'll have the test that will not be difficult. You can bring your notes and do your answers and things from your notes, so there's nothing to worry about. But you are most welcome, Sister Zion, to be part of this too. So I'm hoping that Sister Samantha and yourself will see this through till the end, and both of you will graduate, because that's us halfway through the teaching for this year now. That's it, halfway through. So you've got the test in January, and then you'll have another 4 classes, February, March, April and May, and then you'll have a final test in June, and that's it all done. Okay, so when you do your test in January, after that you've completed Hebrews and James. We will not ask you in June to go back to Hebrews or James, okay? So it will only be what we teach from February onwards, which will be 1 Peter, 2 Peter, 1 John, 2 John, 3 John and Jude. Okay? Now, you're going, my goodness, we've only covered 2 books and all of these are still to come and we're halfway through. Well, the reason is that 1 Peter and 2 Peter and 1 John they've got quite a few chapters in them, okay? But 2 John, 3 John and Jude are very, very small. So in May, on the last teaching day, we will go through all 3 of these, okay? And that brings everybody up to date with the general epistles, okay? So, without any further ado, may I say, as I did to the other class, that Christmas is not far away. Have a blessed time, both of you, your families, your loved ones. Have a God-filled Christmas and a blessed, healthy, God-prospered New Year. And rejoice in the time that you've got over Christmas, and get a good rest, and as well as doing a little bit of studying, but you'll be fine with it. As is always the case with these classes, you folks are old hands at this now, okay? 30 years, you know what you're doing. So a little bit of each thing on a regular basis will keep you going, okay? Don't try to suddenly say, oh my goodness, I've got 4, 5, 6 tests tomorrow, I need to study, you know. So just do a little bit each day, or whenever you can, just do bits of it, and just keep things ticking over, and you'll be absolutely fine for any test that comes along. I can assure you, from any class, people will look after you, okay? So God bless you. Real good. Have a great Christmas, and we'll speak to you next year. My goodness, next year. Okay? Right, take care. Regards to your families as well, okay? Take care. God bless. Right, bye.